Happy Sunday. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back. Today's message is going to be about when people try to come back into your life. I'm gonna give a few people a chance to come into the life because I don't want to just be talking to myself. So I'm gonna stall a little bit before I dive into the message, but that's what the message is going to be about today. When people try to come back into your life, what should you do? Should you let them back in, or should you keep them at a distance? That's what we're going to talk about today. Let me drink some water now so I can make sure that my voice doesn't give out. I love myself. I choose myself. I love myself. I choose myself. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just get into the message, guys. I know if this is your first time watching, you're gonna be like, she's so weird. I am. I don't try to be, I'm just a very unique individual. But the reason that what even inspired this message was a recent situation that I had, and I'm gonna get into that later. But somebody from my past tried to creep their way back into my life, and the reason I say creep is because this person was very strategic, and I just don't feel like it was genuine. And that's the reason why I did not let that person come back into my life. That's what inspired this message because I've actually had that happen a lot. Not trying to like toot my own horn or be like, people always spin the block or circle back or whatever. But I'm just being honest. Almost every single person that I've ever fell out with, 9 times out of 10, if anybody reached out to try to reconcile, it was the other person. Like, and I'll be confused, like, what is so special about me that y'all want to come back into my life and like reconcile or be cool again? Or if it was a romantic relationship, reconcile, rekindle whatever we had. But I just be confused because I'm like, yo, 9 times out of 10, the reason that person is no longer in my life is because of something they did. So I always be confused, like, why y'all trying to come back? Like, you did what you did. We not cool no more. I don't hate you, but it's like, why now? In my opinion, you have to be careful about allowing people from your past to re-enter into your life. And in fact, I'd argue that in most cases, not in all cases, there's exceptions to every rule. Is everything is not just black and white. But I would say in most cases, most people don't deserve to have access to you again. If they had access to you once upon a time and they lost that based on something they did, 9 times out of 10, that person doesn't deserve to be in your life again. And we're going to get into that. A lot of people confuse forgiveness with reconciliation. Because I forgive you, that means I also have to reconcile with you. I have to be close to you again. I have to be friends with you again. I have to give you a chance again. And that's not the case. Just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean you have to let them back into your life. And this is something that I used to do. Anytime somebody reached out to me. So I'm going to get into the fact that almost everybody that I fell out with, and it was something they did that caused us to fall out. Those people, maybe weeks later, months later, maybe even years later, reach back out to me wanting to reconcile or have a conversation or whatever. And because I'm such a loving and understanding person, in the past, if somebody reached out to me and they apologized and they wanted to reconcile, not only would I forgive them, I would automatically feel that if I forgive them, that means I have to be cool with them again. I have to be close to them again. I have to give them access to me again. I felt obligated because I'm like, if I truly forgive them, I have to give them another chance. I have to give them another chance. If not, I'm a bad person. And I would feel bad. Like if somebody apologized and reached out to me or whatever, I would feel bad. Like if like I said, I felt obligated to let that person back in. And I had to realize forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. You can truly forgive somebody in your heart and even let them know, look, I forgive you. The past is the past. We all make mistakes. I forgive you. I'm not angry towards you. I'm not bitter towards you. I don't hate you. You're good. However, I don't feel comfortable being close to you again. I don't feel comfortable letting you have access to me again. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's what I had to learn because every single time that I allow somebody to come back into my life, I always regretted it. It always ended up being a waste of time because guess what? Anybody from my past that came back into my life, none of those people are in my life now. We ended up falling out again. And it got to a point where there were people that would, it's like I feel like I was being tested. There would be people from my past that would just pop up out of nowhere, text me out of nowhere after a year or 2 years, maybe even 3 years. Text me out of nowhere. And I would feel that old feeling of if I truly forgive them, that means I have to let them back in. Like, if I don't let them back in, that means I haven't forgiven them. And I had to realize no, Kyla, what do you feel in your spirit about this person? Do you feel like this person is worth letting back into your life? And you have to ask yourself, what is making them come back around? Is it that they truly have changed and they see where they went wrong? Or is it because they just see you doing good and they want to be a part of that? Or is it because they just miss a void that you used to fill? You have to ask yourself. So I would ask myself these questions like, and another thing is, would me allowing this person back into my life, would that make my life better or would it make it worse? Or would they just be dead weight? Would they just take up space and not add value to my life? That's another question that I had to ask myself too. And these are all the questions you should ask yourself when you are trying to evaluate whether or not you should allow somebody to come back in. Um, but yeah, let me go ahead and tell you about the recent situation I had. So, if you're not new here, if you've been watching my lives, if you've been subscribed to me for at least a year, you might remember me mentioning that there was a guy at the gym. I don't even know what to call it. There was a guy at the gym that I was entertaining. We didn't have intercourse, we didn't, get intimate, but I was entertaining him, meaning we would be texting. We hung out a few times and we did get a little physical. We did get a little touchy feely, kissy kissy smoochy, right? But deep down in my spirit from the beginning, I knew that man was not my husband. I even said it to myself multiple times, like, this man is not your husband, Kyla. Like, why are you even entertaining him? Like, and I would just be like, well, I'm single. I've been single and abstinent for 3 years. Like, I live in Atlanta now. I'm not from here. I've only lived here a little over 2 years now. And at the time, it was less than 2 years because this was a while back. This was back in September of last year. But yeah, so I got to a point where I was lonely. Like, I don't really have friends here. I don't have family here. So I was lonely. And I'm like, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have a guy friend that I hang out with here and there. But deep down, I knew this man was not my husband. And deep down, I knew that I shouldn't have been entertaining him. However, I was. But it got to a point where I was like, you know what? I need to cut this off. I need to cut this off because I feel like I feel like if I'm not careful, this might turn into a situationship. And I've done too much work on myself. I've come too far to end up in a situationship. After I've been single and abstinent for 3 years, just me and God, just seeking God and focusing on myself and my healing. I'm like, I've came too damn far. I'm not about to go backwards. So I had a conversation with him, pretty much letting him know that, like, look, you can't give me what I need, and that's okay. If what I require in a partner or whatever, if that's too much from you, that's fine. We can just be cool. But I'm not going to accept the bare minimum. Like this is kind of turning into a situationship, and I'm ready to be a wife. I'm not trying to be in no situationship, no friends with benefits. I'm not trying to have none of that. I'm ready to be a wife. Clearly, you can't give me what I need, and that's okay. That just means we ain't meant for each other. We could still be cool. And the conversation went left. Like instead of him understanding where I was coming from and being like, you know what, you're right. He got very defensive and he was like immature in how he handled it. And I'm like, you know what, I'm good. I'm cool. So after that, in my mind, I was done. I'm like, all right, cool. Like if that's how you responded to that, that lets me know everything I need to know. A few weeks later, I see him at the gym. I don't speak. I mind my business. Because I'm in my mind, I'm like, I'm cool. Like once I'm leaving the gym, he comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, like we need to talk. Are you free later today?" And I was like, "No, I'm busy." So then he was like, "Okay, well, when are you free?" And I was like, "I'll let you know." Do you think I let him know? No, I did not. At that point, I deleted the man's number. So even if I wanted to reach out and like talk to him, I couldn't. So I'm just like, whatever. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm done. I'm good. I'm cool. Like this is high school. Like, I'm not about to do this cat and mouse back and forth, like mind games. I don't have time for it. At this age, 33, I'm a grown woman. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I've come way too far. If you caught me in my early 20s, yeah, I'll be on that type of time. I'll play the little game, but now, absolutely not. So, yeah, in my mind, I was done. But guess what? Here we are, when was that back? October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. We almost in July. So yeah, this was like 9 months ago. Mind you, this was like about 8 or 9 months ago. Fast forward 8 or 9 months ago, or 8 or 9 months after that. 8 or 9 months after that story that I just told y'all, which is now. Fast forward to now. I wake up. I'm getting ready to go to the gym. I get in the car to go to the gym and I get a text message from a number that I don't have saved. So I'm like, who is this? And it says something along the lines. I just got the text message sometime last week, but I don't remember verbatim what it said. But it says something like, you were on my mind. Hopefully you're in good spirits or something like that. And I'm like, who is this? And I'm like, it's an Atlanta number. And I don't really know many people in Atlanta. And the people I do know, I have their number saved. So I'm like, who is this? And then it dawned on me. I was like, I bet you it's that man. Like, I bet you it's that man. And guess what? I think his birthday is today. This is what I was saying to myself when I read the text. I'm like, I'm 99% sure today is his birthday. So you're, I'm suddenly on your mind and it's your birthday. Like, you're reaching out to me on your birthday. So I'm like, eh. I'm like, I don't even want to respond to this because, like, where is this conversation gonna go? Like, I'm not about to play the game of like, oh yeah, I'm in good spirits. How about you? No, I remember where we left off, and I'm not about to act like that never happened or try to be like, no, I'm not doing that. So I didn't respond. I'm like, I already know that's that man, and I don't really have nothing to say. I don't hate him or nothing. I'm not mad at him, but I'm just like, I'm good. So I go to the gym. Guess who's at the gym? This man. And I had a feeling that was going to happen. I'm like, I knew like he's being very strategic. Like, okay, today's my birthday. He probably had in his mind, like, maybe if we like get cool again, we can hang out today. Like, and then on top of it, you text me right before I go to the gym, and this man knows around what time I go to the gym because guess what? This whole 9 months of me not like us falling out or whatever and not talking anymore, I have not seen him at the gym because he knows around what time I go to the gym. So I'm sure these past 9 months that I have not seen him at the gym, he's been purposely going out at different times so we don't run into each other, which is cool. Like, I'm fine with that. Whether he's there or not, I don't care. Like, I'm able to focus on my workout, mind my business, and be good. Just don't talk to me. But so he, yeah. So I'm like, yo, I know he purposely did this. He knows around. He knows the days I go to the gym, and he knows around what time I go to the gym. So the fact that he sent me that text, he knows what time I go to the gym on Saturdays. And he sent me that text, and he was most likely already at the gym when he sent me that text because I got to the gym like 10 minutes after I got that text and he was there. So I'm like, ugh, I don't have time for this. I don't want to deal with this. So I saw him on my peripheral, but I didn't make eye contact with him. So I just kept walking. And I walk to the locker room. As I'm walking to the locker room, he's literally right there. So literally, because he's right there, I'm not a rude person. So I looked over, I smiled, and I just waved and walked into the locker room. As I'm walking into the locker room, I hear him saying my name over and over again. I had earphones in though, but I didn't have anything playing. So I heard him, but he probably didn't think I heard him because I had earphones in. But I act like I didn't hear him because I don't want to be bothered. Like, I don't have time for this. Like, I'm aware that you're being strategic. You have this like game plan set up, and I don't have time for that. Like, I'm too grown for that, and you too grown for that. So yeah, I go into the locker room. I collect myself, and then I go back out. He's still over in a different corner trying to get my attention. He's like waving me down. I act like I ain't see him. I went straight to the treadmill. After I get off the treadmill, I go lift weights. Guess who is walking over to me as I'm lifting weights? This man. And I'm like, oh, like my anxiety is on 10 because I'm like, leave me alone. I don't want to be bothered. So I just said a quick prayer. I was like, Lord, please help me to be able to be straightforward with this man without being rude. Help me to just be direct without hurting this man's feelings. Because I don't want to hurt his feelings, but at the same time, I'm not trying to do the whole like, oh, how are you? How you been? Did I? No, I don't have nothing to talk about. So when he finally gets close enough to me where I take my earphones out, I was like, look, I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't have anything to say. And he was like, oh, well, it's been a while since I've seen you. So I just wanted to say hi. And I actually wanted to apologize to you. And I was like, okay, thank you. Have a good day. And he walked away. Because I'm like, I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't want to do this. Like, this is like high school stuff to me. I don't have time for it. Stand on what you said the last time we spoke and just leave it at that. Like, I'm not doing this. So yeah, needless to say, that is not a person that I let back in my life. And there's been a lot of other people that I did not let back in my life either because when I was younger, I used to do it so much in the past and I regretted it because we would always end up falling out again 9 times out of 10 over a similar thing that we fell out over before. So in most cases, I don't recommend it. However, there are exceptions to every rule. If that person has truly changed, you can see that they truly have changed. And depending on what y'all fell out over, if it was something small, if it was something petty, I feel like that's something you can come back from, especially if both of y'all have matured and changed. Um, I feel like I was talking, wasn't I talking about one of my friends that I fell out with? I can't remember, but long story short, it was two different friends that I fell out with, and then they would come back around, and I will be like, okay, I forgive you. Let's be friends again. And then we will fall out over a similar situation, over something similar. And the friend, it was actually a friend that reached out to me. It was after I moved to Atlanta. Surprisingly, this was like a year and some change after we fell out. And I don't even want to say fell out because it wasn't like we argued or like I just told her like, look, you're I don't think you're a bad person, but you're not a good friend to me. Maybe you're a good friend to other people, but you're not a good friend to me. Like communication for me is a really big thing in any relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or even a friendship. Communication is very important to me. So if I'm friends with somebody that is constantly ghosting me, or maybe we had plans to meet up or whatever, and you never text me back, or whatever, like friends, I can't be friends with somebody like that because you're not reliable. You're not reliable. And it's like, I can't depend on you. And it's like, my thing with her, with this particular friend, we had plans to hang out. And I text her, I'm like, let me know when you're on your way, because she was supposed to be coming over to my house. And she didn't text me back. She didn't say, okay, I'll let you know anything. Not only did she not text me back, she never showed up. She never texted me back at all. Like, but then a couple of days later, I see her posting workout videos with one of her other friends. A couple days later, she posting workout videos on social media with one of her other friends. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe I just expect too much from my friends. No, I don't feel like I do. It's just I feel like communication is not hard. If I made plans with my friend, my close friend, not just an associate. We were close friends. I make plans with my close friend. We make plans for me to come over her house and for us to hang out, right? And she texts me like, okay, let me know when you're on your way. If something happened to where I couldn't come, at the very least, I'm gonna text her and let her know, hey, I'm sorry, can we reschedule? This, and this happened, or I made other plans or whatever. The fact that you couldn't even do that. A couple days later, you're posting workout videos of you and your other friends. To me, that shows a lack of consideration, and it shows, in my opinion, a lack of respect. You don't really respect me as a person or as a friend. Cause it's like I would feel weird if I made plans with my friend and I never text them back and I never show up. And then a couple days later, I'm on social media with one of my other friends. Like, that's just weird to me. So I was like, I'm good. Like, I don't think you're a bad person. I wish you the best. And I wish your sons the best. But I just don't want to be friends with somebody like that. Like, that's weird to me. Like, I don't like people being like, oh, I'm gonna just come and go as I please. Like, I'll ghost her for a few months and then pop back up like nothing ever happened. She did that quite a few times. So I was like, nah, I'm good. The last time she reached out, I felt a small part of me felt bad because I'm like, damn, I can tell she really misses me and she really wants to be friends again. Like, she's really like reaching out and trying. But at the same time, I was like, respectfully, I feel like I've outgrown her. Like, and not like, oh, I'm better than her, but I just feel like I've outgrown that friendship. Even when I think about certain things that happen in the friendship, I'm like, like to be honest, I always felt I always felt indifferent about her. And it's not because I had something against her. It was just because of certain things she did. It just was questionable. So even though a part of me felt bad because I'm a very empathetic person, I'm like, damn, I can tell that she really wants to be friends again. Like she misses me. Like, and it's like, well, I don't blame her because I would miss me too. I think I am a pretty great person. I think I'm a pretty fun, amazing person. But no, in all seriousness, I'm like, even if somebody wants to be friends with you again or be in a relationship with you again or they miss you or whatever the case, that doesn't mean you shouldn't feel bad about not letting them back in your life because you have to think about, well, what does this person do for me? How does this person add value to my life? Or are they just going to be dead weight? Are they just going to be another person filling up space in my life? Because sometimes people just be bored. Sometimes people just be bored and they don't really be having many friends or many people in their life. So they like, oh, well, let me hit this person up because me and this person used to have fun. Me and this person used to be really good friends. So since I don't really have as many friends as I used to have, like I'm gonna reach out to this person. Like sometimes people will just reach out and like try to circle back out of boredom. And you gotta be careful with that too. Life is too short and it's only so many hours in a day. I have very limited space for close people in my life. At this age, I have very limited space. Like it's only so many hours in a day. And like I said, life is short. So yeah, but an example that I'll give where maybe you and that person didn't necessarily fall out, but maybe y'all just grew apart for a period of time. Or maybe life just took you in different directions. Sometimes those relationships are worth reconciling. Sometimes those relationships are worth rekindling and rebuilding. I'll give a perfect example. One of my best friends, actually, she's my longest friend out of any of my friends. Me and this woman have been friends since seventh or eighth grade. Best friends. She's one of my best friends. Me and her, ever since the first time we hung out one on one, we've been two peas in a pod. But when we were about 18, 19, she went through a really dark time in her life. She was really struggling with her mental health. And at the time, like I said, we were super young. I was like 18. So I was kind of immature. And instead of me being empathetic towards her, I was annoyed by her. Because I'm like, yo, I just want to party. I just want to have fun. I just want to have a good time. You bring it down the vibe. Like, and because I'm just like, why can't you just snap out of it? Like, I don't understand. Like, you just feel sorry for yourself. Da, da, da. And she distanced herself from me. There wasn't a fallout to where we were like, no, we're not friends with you anymore, blah, blah. Like, it wasn't anything like that. But she distanced herself from me. And really, it wasn't just me. She kind of like distanced herself from everybody. She pretty much went into isolation. Like, the only people that she would be around was her family. That was it. And I understood that. I understood like she's going through something, so I don't take it personal that we don't really talk anymore. We don't really see each other anymore. Like, but even in that, we would always check on each other like a couple times a year. We would just check in with each other. But we weren't as close as we used to be. And a few years later, I started going through my own mental issues. I started, having my own nervous breakdown and going through some of the same things that she was going through at that time. And that's when it clicked. And I realized, like, damn, I wasn't the best friend that I could have been at that time. I wasn't mature. I just wanted to have fun and party. Like, I didn't get it at that time, but now I get it. Now I see why she distanced herself from everybody and like isolated herself because I wasn't a safe space for her. And in that moment, when I realized that, when I was going through my own shit, I reached out to her and I was like, yo, I just want to tell you, I apologize. And then I started telling her everything I just, told y'all. And she was like, that really means a lot to me. Like, that means so much to me that you're letting me know, like, you understand what I was going through. And we just talked and it was beautiful. We had a long conversation after that. And ever since then, we've been back to how we were when we were kids and when we were teenagers. So yeah, to this day, me and her are like this. Like I was just on FaceTime with her last week and we was texting during a Pretty Ricky B2K versus because we used to love us some Pretty Ricky. But yeah, when it comes to stuff like that, that's I would say in that case, those type of situations when it was just a matter of y'all needing to mature and y'all needing to have y'all space to go through y'all's own things and come back together once y'all matured and were able to understand each other. I feel like in those cases, that's worth reconciling. That's worth letting, because I wouldn't even consider that person as a part of your past. I would say, like I said, we have different phases in life. You might be in a different phase in your life to where being around that person, it doesn't make sense. At that period of your life, in that phase of your life, it doesn't make sense. And it's not even necessarily that it doesn't make sense. Y'all are just in two different phases. And sometimes the phase you're in might require isolation. And the last thing, let me take a sip of water so my voice don't give out. Nope, I'm not gonna let it happen this time, y'all. I'm going through that now. When you get older, you really just want peace. That's true. That's so true. And here's the thing, like, sometimes, like I said, it's not that you and that person fell out. You may have just grown apart. And they might want to be coming back into your life, but you have to ask yourself, is that person aligned with who I am today? Is that person aligned with who I am today? And because sometimes that person just doesn't fit into your life. They don't fit with the person you are today. The version you are today is completely different than the person that they once knew. And they might not have really changed much, because that's another thing. They might be the exact same person back then, and you're a completely different person. So, and I've had that happen too, where you make up with somebody from the past, or you're around somebody that used to be a part of your past, and y'all are just not on the same level. Like, there's a disconnect when you try to have a conversation with them about certain stuff. There's a disconnect. And sometimes that just might be the case. It might not even be like that you and that person had a big fallout or they did anything crazy. It might just be that y'all are not equally yoked. Y'all are just not equally yoked. That can happen in friendships. Not that doesn't just happen in relationships. That happens in friendships too. You might just not be equally yoked with each other. Y'all are not aligned with each other. And if you are an empathetic person like me, you can feel bad about rejecting somebody when somebody's wanting to be a part of your life and you're like, I'm good. You might feel bad about that, but you shouldn't, because like I said, life is short and there's only so many hours in a day. And if you already have people in your life that you're close to, you have to make time for them. So if you're bringing somebody else into the picture, in my opinion, that person has to really be worth your time and your energy, even if it's not a romantic relationship. That person needs to be worth your time and energy, especially if you're a little older. If you're in your early 30s and older, that's when you really have to start being intentional with your time and who you spend your time with. So yeah, I'm losing my voice now, y'all. I love y'all. If this message spoke to you, please make sure you like it. And please make sure you're subscribed. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Love you. Have a good day. Bye.